can only imagine how excited I am today for this particular episode. Well, I'm excited to have everybody in conversations with Olga, but today is really, really very, very special. And I'm waiting for our incredible guest to join in just in a second, I'm sure. But yes, I'm waving to everyone. Thank you so much for linking and for joining us tonight, today, this morning, anywhere you are. Just give me 1 second and as soon as he sees my invitation, I'll join it. Yes, here you go. Hello, just give me a second, let me see how to, yes. Hello, hello.
Hi, how are you doing?
How are you? Good. You know, it's incredible to have you. Okay, I can see you better now because the lighting. Yes, I can see you in full, and
Can
I
you see
see the
me?
background. Yes, I can see you, and I can see the background of the mask, which is
Yeah.
great, and we'll talk about it at length later on today, but thank you so much again. The way it's going to be done, I will say, of course, I will welcome you. I will say a few words about the conversations with Olga in general, because we have so many people who join this episode because of you and who've never been at these conversations before. So I'll just say a few words, and then I'll say a few words about you as well, very short bio, because I would like you to elaborate on everything else later on. How does it sound to you?
Sure, absolutely.
Wonderful. Well, hello everyone and welcome. Today I have the honor of welcoming the Aya Rahman to this IG Live number 55 episode of Conversations with Olga. You know, it still feels like a dream that I get to sit here with you across countries, across time zones, especially after watching the Limask last weekend, just over the weekend, which was an incredible experience. And
Thank you.
we will dive into it in our conversation, of course, today, but watch the space and the Limask is now in Singapore for a very short period of time, and I will tell you all about it and where to watch it. It's an absolute must. We have so much to talk about today, but before we begin, I'd like, as I said, to introduce the series a little bit, as many of our guests are joining because of you and never even probably heard, or some of them have not heard about Conversation with Olga. I'm Olga Isserlis, and this is Conversation with Olga. It's an IG Live series that began as a quiet experiment in this right here in my dining room during the circuit breaker in 2020, which was Singapore's response to the pandemic. It started as a way to stay connected despite this our sudden disconnect from authentic and deep conversations. And I'm so fortunate to know so many incredible people that I've met and become friends over my life's journey, that it became as an intimate space to speak with people and who shared their life journeys, creatives, founders, visionaries, and people who, like me, have worked behind the scenes for years, shaping beauty, art, culture, and experience. I've had the privilege of being in many extraordinary rooms, but more than who these people were, I've always been interested how they got there. Some conversations carry the weight of history, of resonance of culture, and the poetry of sound. Well, today, it's going to be definitely one of those. So welcome everyone, and of course, welcome our maestro, A.R. Rahman, two-time Academy Award winner, a cultural icon, and the man who has redefined contemporary Indian music. Across more than 100 film soundtracks from Roger to Slumdog Millionaires, your music has not only transcended languages, it has transcended borders. With over 150 records sold, international collaborations with the likes of Michael Jackson, Mick Jagger, Michael Bolton, Sarah Brightman, Dido, Hans Zimmer, just to name a very, very few, otherwise I would be sitting here for 10 minutes naming everyone. A scores that echoes through the world's greatest orchestras. AR's journey, your journey, is the kind of story that stirs something deep in the soul. But behind the fame, the genius, the global recognition, there is a person driven by spirituality and unshakable belief in music ability to heal, connect, and transform. Today we talk about legacy, listening, and the quiet power of creating something timeless. So, DIR, welcome. And thank you again for joining this unconventional conversation. So I would like to start just with first question. Uh, with such a towering presence in the music world, how do you like to introduce yourself in one sentence? Because I said a little bit about you already.
I'm a seeker, searcher, searching, always searching. I love the journey, and the journey keeps going on. It keeps expanding and expanding and expanding. So that's fun.
That's wonderful. That's a perfect, profound one sentence uh, about yourself. Fantastic. But you know, when I talk to my friends, my guests on this podcast, I always like to start with early life, with foundations. You began your musical journey very young, assisting musicians and actually composing jingles. What do you remember most vividly from that early days?
I remember the legacy of my father because my father was a composer, arranger, conductor, and he passed away very early. So for over 10 years after he passed away from 76, from my age of 9, I just listened to beautiful things said about my father.
Yeah.
So in a way that shaped my journey, my character, that we are born to, I'm born to a great man. And and it's nice to hear good things about your father, right? Because he's the first hero.
Absolutely.
And even though
Absolutely.
when he died, it was, I don't know, I can't explain, a very dark moment in my life. So that my mom, being my mom, she said, "You don't do studies, you do what your father did," and that's one of the most brilliant decisions made by any woman, because usually they say, "Oh, you study and then do music, you do a doctor and
Exactly.
then." So
Yes,
she was
I heard
exactly
that.
opposite.
Yes.
She knew exactly what I would become, and she kind of envisioned my life, and so I definitely owe it to my parents, my mother and my father.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing this with us. If I am to meet young AR, maybe at the age 18, what kind of dreams did you have? And did you even dream or imagine of being where you are today?
No, I think I had very um, low self-esteem when I was young because I missed my teenage, having fun, all that stuff.
Yeah,
And not that now when I think it's good that I missed it, because I gained so much of pre-experience so that I could start from where I started when I was 25 doing music, cut to the chase rather than trying to figure out things. So by then, I'd seen everything, all of the composers and how movies are,
yeah.
music is made for movies and advertising and all this stuff. So almost like a 10-year of full education. Life taught me what it is.
Exactly. Exactly. And usually the hard experiences of life, they usually shape our character, and they gravitate to something very, very solid. And the philosophy behind it, that we just move forward based on what we've experienced in the past. So thank you for sharing that as well. You've studied in Trinity College of Music in London, so obviously long way from Chennai. How did time abroad shaped you when you were in
I
UK?
think the Trinity College of Music, I think they have this examinations which they hold in India. And
Okay,
so I did the practical examination in Chennai.
okay.
And now I'm the honorary president of Trinity College of Music, Laban. So it's a whole circle. And,
Yeah,
and I love that place. When I go there, I feel what they've contributed to the musical lives
yes,
of so many people. And many composers have come in, musicians have
correct.
come in, and it's a legacy of London. It's like history
Yes.
of London.
Absolutely, I agree with you. It's Trinity or London College of Music, but especially Trinity, is a very, very high regarded and definitely gave birth to so many
Yeah.
talents, you included. And then it was Roger. directed by Mani Ratnam in 1992. I believe it was your breakthrough, and it happened with your debut.
Yeah,
What did that moment feel like, if I'm correct, that it was your debut?
my actually, I went through so many important incidents in my life where it led me to the spiritual life. The spiritual life was like failures and disappointments, and what I learned from those disappointments and failures is that you don't go in search of things. You go for higher ideals, and it'll come to you, right? Not
For
don't
sure.
don't go in search of smaller things like money or fame or anything. But if
Yeah,
you have higher ideals, I think all the stuff will come in because you raise your bar out there. And my higher
absolutely.
ideal was resistance and passion, and in a way, reaching for something bigger than smaller things. Like I never had ambition. I was trying to be in a Zen mode where I was renouncing at the same time I was getting what I was renouncing. You know, so
But you opened your chakras. Your mindset was open. You didn't think you didn't have the tunnel thinking. So the universe brought you things that you perhaps couldn't even dream, but you have it because
yeah, I think
of
life
who you
sick. I
are.
think it's what life kind of teaches you,
Yeah,
and it's the biggest university. Life is the biggest university, right?
absolutely, absolutely, and. It is what it is, and we follow the steps and we follow the journey, and it's wonderful. And after that, after Roger, it was Vande Mataram, released in 1997, which became an anthem for generations. Bollywood, Tollywood, and the rest of the cinema strands in India have a unique, colossal, massive, dedicated following. Well, actually, even I'm looking at now people who are joining in. It's a following for you. It's a legacy for you. Where you've you've studied obviously in UK, but you worked on projects all around the world. Where does your inspiration come from, and how much does the culture, both traditional and popular cultures, influence the elements of your melodies?
From younger age, I was open to all kinds of music. For me, music is music. Though I love my culture, I love my classical, Indian classical music and folk music and everything. But I was open to African and Western classical and jazz and
Yeah,
even heavy metal and everything. So I was looking at music as music, not where it's made. So it was like an umbrella.
yeah,
Like music is like ocean where you jump in. So I was never had borders in my compositions. If suddenly I feel like, oh, I want to have heavy metal in here, it's just about the feeling. Because film music is all about emotion, right?
absolutely.
We can change any kind of a genre and then bend into something else. It is about how it drives the movie,
Yeah,
and that was more important than a piece of music by itself. So that's why I'm sticking to film music because it's always inspiring. The script inspires you, the director inspires you, and on the whole, the team inspires you. And so it was easy for me to drop all the stuff I like and probably do a Chinese movie or Persian movie or Arabic movie or
yeah.
English so that I can adapt to thinking because of this philosophy which I grew up with.
Yes, fantastic. Thank you so much. And as a matter of fact, in Le Masque, this is exactly what it is. There was so many different musical genre, and there was so many which we'll talk about a bit later on. But I keep on going back to it because it really, really was such an incredible project that I just watched, and I want everybody to see it. Um, has all this also affected your decision where you call home? You know, you stay in Chennai. What is
Yeah.
that atmosphere like and compare, let's say, in India to Mumbai or even anywhere else in the world? What draws you to that place?
To Chennai?
Yes.
I think when I started here, Chennai was the cultural kind of hub for South India.
Yeah.
Like movies like Kannada,
Yes.
Telugu, Malayalam, everything
Yes.
was. And in one compound would have four different studios and all different languages going on. So my memory is very strong. And then slowly they all have the industry, they all moved on. But for me, Chennai is that culminating place of culture. In
Mm-hmm.
December, we have Carnatic Music Festival. So in a way, it feels like it is asking you to do something more. Chennai is asking me to do something more. And
That's
I
an
feel like,
energy, perhaps. Yes.
yeah. And even though I have an option of, settling in the UK or Mumbai or LA, we all keep coming back to Chennai because, again, my family, my mom
Yes.
and my friends, the musicians here, and the aura of Chennai. Somewhere you feel like you can travel anywhere, but home is Chennai.
Yes. Thank you for sharing. And I totally
And
understand. And as I said,
and
this is definitely
and
a journey.
also the people here, like, we can do anything overnight. You can call anybody. It's like a 24 launch, 24 hours. Like three o'clock. Not that I do that every day. Sometimes, you have a release time. You have to deliver the masters. I want a section of four people, four girls coming in, or four men, or instrumental player. I said, if we finish this now, the deadline is approaching. I don't know what to
Yes.
do. And we call them, yeah, I'm coming. The guys just take bath quickly. They bring the instruments, or it's amazing that trust and
Yes.
the kind of respect they have
It's
for
love
music.
and
So
passion. Yes. And of
yeah,
course,
it can
working
never
with
happen anywhere. It's like, are you joking? Like, people are going to say, anywhere in the world, nobody can do that. And that's an incredible resource for me.
unbelievable. But that's actually, that would have been my next question about your process in creating a song. What does it look like? But I think you just explained how it works in Chennai. You just put the people, like-minded people who love you and who want to do a good
Yeah.
job, and it doesn't matter. It's 24/7, I guess, the process.
Yeah, some of them don't even know what they're singing for. And suddenly it becomes a sensation, some of them. And they're like, you put me in this song? I'm all over the place. People are calling me a million times. Like, I said, yeah, great. Have fun. And
Fantastic.
yeah.
So there is no real structure. This is actually what I wanted
Yeah, because I
to
only care
hear.
about the quality which
Yeah,
comes and enhances the music. I don't care
yeah,
about what they sang before, what they are, rich, poor, anything.
yes.
If they're going to contribute something artistically, I don't care who they are. They come in, they sing, and I'm honored to have them in
That's
my
beautiful.
studio.
But this is authenticity in you, and this is so well respected, and it doesn't happen that often, for sure.
Thank you.
Well, based on that, I want to move into Hollywood, global collaborations, and of course, experimentation. Slumdog Millionaire captured you on the global stage in a completely new way. You've since worked with so many filmmakers and artists. I will make just a few. I'll just mention just only a few again. Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber, Mani Ratnam, Danny Boyle, James Franco, and many, 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 many more. How did you create process? How did your creative process, I should say, evolve across all this cross-cultural project, if it has evolved, or you drew to yourself with your own vision?
I mean, I think there's one big shift which happened. Like, in India, when for a decade, people listened to me, there was adulation, there was criticism, everything happened. Then when I wanted to know where I stand in the field of music, because the fans are different, the music listeners are different all around the world. So when I went to London in 2000, I got invited by Mr. Andrew Lloyd Webber. He made me stay in his flat, and I was writing the musical Bombay Dreams for him. That's when I discovered where I am standing, where I am in the world of music.
Yeah,
Because when people of different cultures value or validate music in a different way, right? So being in London, in the central London, in Covent Garden, walking amongst those artists and actors and directors and makeup people and set designers, it was fascinating to see that whole new thing open me. Even me, I was pampered, right? I have three sisters. I had three sisters, and my mom would not let me do anything. He's the his breadwinner. You
the
guys do the
king.
job, right?
Yes.
And that stayed on. I could never go to the kitchen, even make an omelette or anything. Oh, you don't come here. That's not your thing.
Okay,
You do
next
the
time you come to Singapore, I will cook for you. I will not ask you to step into the
no.
kitchen, I promise you.
No, I'm like, so when we go to London, there's nobody.
Oh, yeah.
There's
Yes.
nobody. I'm like, where's my coffee? Oh, you go make it, buddy. And where's the laundry? Like, you had to go put it there. So this is very. It actually kind of affected my output of how much music I can do. but it was therapeutic to know that, okay, now independent now. I have to look after myself. I have to make my own coffee. So that changed my thing to be to think independently, being pushing towards probably storytelling and observe life, and even in the masjid there. So in the Regent's Park, you normally see all kinds of people from different nationalities.
Yes.
Each playing little different from what you're playing, and that also was fascinating. People who speak English and from Russia to Middle East to America,
Yes.
and that was life changing. So I would say that the trip to London and that 4 or 5 years where I was staying in London changed made me what I am now, experimenting to like stuff
Yeah.
boldly, like
It's an
going to yeah.
international, yes. It's that's like they call it for the younger people. They call it a third culture kid. When you're exposed to so many different cultures, and then you sponge it,
Yeah.
and then something comes out of it that you can relate to. So, but it's wonderful. Thank you so much. And yeah, that I would like to ask you about the films, the process in scoring films. How do you work with the writer, director, or get the mood just right? It is just right. It's really amazing.
Which one? Which one are you talking? Which movie was
I'm
it?
talking about in general, when you
General.
your
General.
process in scoring films.
I think most of the Indian movies we we do the songs much before, and most of
Okay.
the themes derive. Not most of the themes. The main themes derive from the song. So a song would be made into a violin theme or a piano theme. So people live in that aura of that song, of a love song or whatever. And when I go abroad, when I work with foreign directors, in a way, I think I follow a similar thing. It may not be a song. I'll be playing piano pieces, looking
Yeah.
at the movie, and then, oh, I love this melody. Can we make this into strings or orchestra? Can we have a choir here? So the process is kind of simple. Like you might have watched what John Williams and Spielberg did with, all the big themes.
Yeah.
Not, I mean, I'm not John Williams, but I'm saying like playing playing the piano and then dissecting it and trying to articulate what the movie requires, what soundscape it requires,
Okay.
kind of thing.
Great, thank you. And do you have a favorite movie genre or scene or score that you like to compose the music for? If there is
Oh,
anything that, or it depends on just on the organic feel of it in general.
no, I like people who value music and like we take Mani Ratnam or Imtiaz
Mhm.
Ali or a few from India
Yeah.
and Lasse Hallström who did the 100 Foot Journey, Danny Boyle. They all have a flair for music and they love the
Yes.
process of making the
Yes.
music, and
Yes.
so they keep that open window. Okay, yeah, take over here. Okay, now you don't do anything. This dialogue's happening here. Come on, take over here. So rather than fighting with the dialogue and doing something which is like a wallpaper kind of music where it is music but it's not music, it's like a loop going on.
Yeah.
And I think when I'm lucky I get movies like that which allow me to score, allow me to express in a way. um,
And
yeah.
And that it's a collaboration, and that
Because-
actually brings me to the question about collaboration, because you've collaborated with icons like Mick Jagger, Dido, MIA, Hans Zimmer, etc., etc., etc. Once again, what do you look for in a collaborator? As a matter of fact, this question, when people know and that I will be talking to you, I've had this particular question probably 100 times posted on my feed, emailed to me, asked about. So I guess there will be plenty of people who might want to try to collaborate with you. So what do you look for?
okay, it's a complicated question because I collaborated with Vatina on the Lord of the Rings musical on stage. Then I collaborated with Craig Armstrong on the Elizabeth Golden Voyage, or
Mm-hmm.
Shekhar Kapoor's movie.
Mm-hmm.
And so what happens is when you collaborate, I'm not a person who puts myself too aggressively saying that you have to do. It is a very dicey situation, especially when it's a composer, and so it is very. We have to draw the borders and we have to set what we have to do. It's very important. And with if it's a song, if it's like a singer, then it's different. We just hang out and I'll just play tunes and say, "Oh, I love this." And like Michael Bolton, we had the song done for couples retreat in
Yeah.
the end credits. PJ Morton sang that, and then Michael loved that song, so he came in and he said, "I want to do this thing." So it was fun,
Beautiful. So
a lot of
once
fun.
again, we're coming back to the same thing. Organic, is very intuitive,
Yeah.
spiritual, and very open-minded. And thank you so much. And you, with all these years of experience and practically carving out a path to the top for yourself, I'm curious to know what's the biggest challenge you face, whether it's be scoring films or whether composing your original pieces.
I wish I get more time to do original pieces where it's not connected with any movies. I started many albums. I started one with the Firdaus when I was in the contract with them, the Firdaus Orchestra in Dubai,
Mhm.
and there are around 15 pieces lying there somewhere. And out of which one piece is called Humanitas. It's a space thing. We finally finished it, and by then my contract ended with Firdaus, and so I want to probably release that one, finish that one. Those pieces ended. The other thing is like film people don't have time. They usually have 2 months, 3 months, and only when you have something in your hand to play them, they will understand what my capability is.
Yeah.
So, which expands every day, which expands every year. Like what was cool 10 years back in my mind was not, I want to do something
Yeah.
else now. And the whole idea of this world became divided also in a way, compels you to see what else we can do to bring the world together, artistically at least. Killing each
Great.
other is not a cool thing.
That's by listening to you, and you just mentioned when the project finished. This is actually my next question. When you're composing, how do you know when the piece is finished? Or perhaps has it really get finished in your mind? Is there anything that you really would love to go back to, or but the project is finished?
Mostly, I don't finish anything. It's a process where a month I will do something and then I'll listen to it. Oh, actually, it should have a mandolin chords happening here. And then again, next month I'll listen to it. Then I'll say, oh, it's perfect. I should not touch it. So, because even the movies when they bring in, they don't show me the special effects first. It's
Yes,
just green screen.
very true.
So when I see that, oh my God, my music is weak now because they put all the stuff in. So I need to add
Yes,
more orchestra. It evolves, except when there's a deadline and you say we have to get this going. Then it's like red light, red flag, and we have to go work night and day. Mostly nowadays we are planning in a way where I don't do last minute jobs. I try to get time for everyone.
yeah,
Keep a
makes
deadline
sense.
before so that we can, even if it seeps over.
You're satisfied. Yeah, well, thank you. Well, it brings me to talk a little bit about your current projects. Two big projects of yours that can be seen as breakthroughs, I think, in the field. The first is, of course, the one that I watched just last weekend in Singapore is Le Masque. For people who haven't watched it, it's on limited run in Singapore Golden Village, Suntec City, and I believe it's only running here for now for less than three months. So please rush and watch it, and I will send all the details about it later on when I post this conversation. But it's a multisensory VR cinematic experience, and it really did immerse me completely with stunning visuals, with sense, with haptics and sounds that still actually replay in my mind and body days after. It's incredible. How did this project even come about, and what was the process of putting this project together?
I think my interest in cinema grew after the Oscars because I was hanging out with great cinematographers, like Storaro and all those people.
Yeah,
You know, and I keep asking them questions, and then one day, I was sitting with my ex-wife, and we were talking. She just loved perfumes, and then I said, "Why don't we make a movie, with scent in it?"
yeah,
And she said, "Is it possible?" I said, "We'll try." And then there was one of my friends in LA called Shankar, who's the CEO of Odyssey Headphones. He said, I have a
Mhm.
friend who can do. You just tell the vision and he can make all the mechanics. And so it started like that. And then one day he gave me the VR device, and I said I was blown away what it made me feel. And I said, this is it. I'm going to make that story into this. And then it all came about. We found the team. Intel came in as a partner, and the whole thing came in. Yeah.
Together. I love
And
it. This is so.
I've never directed any before anything, right? In 2D cinema. So I was looking for a director. Nobody wanted to do this. They were like, no, I'm busy, I'm busy, I'm busy. And so I was like, I did a previs, and some of my friends said, like, why didn't you direct it? I said, but I've not done this before. So I went and met Nora at Nice, I think. So she looked at me and like, why me? How do you know me? I said, I saw in Mozart in the Jungle, and we would love you to be, because you're a musician too. It's a
Yes.
musician, yeah. And then I played some of my songs, and the song which I was supposed to, you know, What's on a Man's Mind. She said, I'm in. If I can sing that song, I'm in. Whatever you want me to do, I'll do. So that's how it came in. It was fun.
It was beautiful. Once again, you spread your energy, you put it into the universe, you visualize it, you work on it, and it happens. And it is once again, it's a beautiful project. I really had an amazing time, and I spread all the word about it. And I'm sure
Thank
now
you.
people who are watching us will come and watch it again, and we'll talk about it to bring this project somewhere else. So it's fantastic. And then there are some, there's another project which is Web3 project. Are there similar elements as Polymask that sort of very for this particular Web3 project? It's a collaboration with, just to mention to people who are watching us, it's a collaboration with Hedera Music Platform, and there are a few avatars whose perspective we can explore. So how does, the whole technology, music and technology come together in this project?
So, being coming from South India, Chennai, like my thing was, why should we do music? Why should a composer from India do only Indian stuff? Why can't we think for the world? Why can't we find a Western band? Why can't you create a Western band? And when I was hanging out in LA, I would check out students from MI, Musicians here in Berkeley. And so I was thinking about why can't I find a band here? But 2014, 15, I think mom fell ill, and I said, I can't spend time there. She's very ill, and I have to come back. I need to spend the last days with her. So I shifted base. Then COVID came in, and then Unreal Engine announced Meta Humans. And I a little bulb lit there and said, oh my God, this is it. All the stuff I wanted to do, which I couldn't do 10 years back, can be done now. And when
Fine.
we started, it was pretty basic, like we could just rig in and get the whatever thing. But now with AI also coming in and using all this as a tool, I think we can do a band which will never die, ever. And there's so many jobs for many people because people have to write for them, people have to
Yes.
compose, people have to sing and choreograph, and there are mentors from every region where they're coming from, like Africa, Ireland,
Yes.
China, and Latin America, India, and so this it brings in jobs, it brings in fun, it brings in excitement, and it also breaks boundaries. So I thought it'll be a good thing to do this with this team.
Yes. Well, and this actually,
It's called
I
Secret
wanted to
Mountain.
ask,
Secret Mountain.
amazing. Based on these innovative projects, actually, you answered partially. Where do you see the future of composing? What does it look like for the based on at least these two projects?
I think um, there's so many different directions happening now for people, and they're always taking the quicker one. Oh, I can do this. I can for quicker results. Secret Mountain, we invested our time and energy back 3 years back. From 3 years, we've been working on shaping the face of the character, what they will say, the parameters of what they can say, the wisdom, how they can represent a million people's voices by one virtual character, right? Each region, and
Yeah.
how we can, because we put like wide variety of people, diverse people in a room, they'll kill each other because of the cultural differences. In this case, we have mentors. and we talk to them and say, is this allowed? Is this hairstyle allowed? Is this word, is this sentence cool to say? So, and I've been researching on loads of um, um, material, as there's a research
Yes.
team involved in defining what they represent, what they're going to talk, how they can inspire. And yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. Once again, it's a line. So I would like to continue to just ask you a question because music is available anywhere and everywhere. And I just listened to a podcast in the town, which is one of my I love that podcast recently. And the episode that my close friend actually recommended, and they talk about the business of Spotify streaming.
Yeah.
And what are your thoughts on how streaming music affects artists like you?
I I mean, it does affect. Um, when I started in the 90s, people were innocent. They're innocent,
More
and
innocent
they
than
were
now.
innocent. They're not innocent now. Nobody's innocent anymore. They're innocent. They will go buy a CD or a tape. They pay for it. It used to come in and they were in line to take it. Now they're not buying it. It's coming free.
Yeah.
It's streaming on the phone, streaming on the car, everywhere. So where is there needs to be a satisfaction. There's been a giving to take something, right? And of course, it's connected with the movie, so it's fine. But that idea of buying something and keeping it sacredly, oh, this is what I bought when I was 13 or my 20 or 25. That joy of buying is
Yes.
gone. Like, what if all the servers die down one day and all the music and movies would disappear? This is a scary kind of thing. All the cloud, everything. Sometimes something happens and it all goes. Imagine all the hard work of
Yes.
people. There's no film, there's no CD, there's no tape, there's no remains of any. I don't know.
That's true.
It scares me.
That's why actually maybe the vinyls are so coming
It's
back
coming
big time,
back.
because you want to collect the original recordings that were
It's a
put
it's an emotional thing to hold
physically.
something. It's an emotional thing to hold something. Oh, look at
Yes.
that, who sang, and yeah, I remember those days.
Yeah. I remember this that times as well. And that brings me to yet another emotion and more about you as a person. You are very spiritual, so I want to talk a little bit about spirituality and somatics. The debate of technology, as we spoke about, and humanity often comes down to a core question: spirituality and soul. Your music carries a deep spiritual undertone. I'd love to know more about how you bring the spirituality from so deep within into something that resonates with so many of us, with all the others. Is there a spiritual or emotional ritual that you return to before you even compose, or what is the process like with you with regards to emotions and spirituality?
I don't know. I found a way to neutralize myself before composing. Not all the times. Mostly, they say that in India it's called samadhi state of mind. Samadhi means like almost dead. So that state of mind allows you to neutralize your mind and reset your mind to be in a state where nothing affects you, and you are in that state. And so it is like a blank slate, right?
Yes.
And then when you think about things, you don't even anticipate what is going to come. You don't. So sometimes you just hope that you also like having a vessel to say that God give me something, and you surrender. And then that state goes off, and then you're consumed by what you're playing and everything, and you set a foundation, and that you start vibing on it and see what comes in. And out of experience, I think what happens is uh, everything intermingles in a way, and then the story of the movie comes in, and then you go into something accidentally, and oh my god, that's beautiful. Let me repeat that again.
Yeah.
Let me go rewind it.
That comes from the depths of your soul, and this comes definitely from the feelings and
Yeah, that's
spirituality.
one of the reasons why musicians can't contain jealousy, hatred, or lust, or all these negative
Mm.
emotions in your mind. Sadness is also negative. So we have to be in a Zen mode. We have to be in a mode where we are like a child,
Yeah.
which can reflect whatever comes in. And yeah, I've seen that in many people. Like when you go and talk to them, they're in a similar mode. Like I saw, is it Saint? What's her name? She was in masterclass. She's saying that when I'm writing a song, I'm like a nun. She says,
That's beautiful. You know,
yeah,
I hope everybody who's listening to us become a musician, compose, become a better person, be kind, don't
yeah.
be evil and malicious. That's really beautiful, amazing. Your studio, Panchatan Recording, has become almost mythic. What does that space mean to you?
The space is a very small space. It's just that when I, in 80, 87, 88, 89, when I was going through, a family was going through a lot of thing, it got blessed by one gentleman who was a spiritual healer. And he kind of envisioned what is going to happen in my life. He said, you and your mom are going to go all over the world on the flight and, it'll be flying and this music you're going to make here is going to... So I thought he's saying something, I don't know what's going to happen, but whatever he said, and the blessing is happening now. And whether it's my daughter composing or my son singing, the legacy of my nephew, both nephews are composers now. So in a way,
Yes.
it's a place where you feel like grounded. Even though like I've composed in LA and Mumbai and Dubai and all the places, and those songs have become hits, it is fondly coming back to, yeah, it feels like home.
That's beautiful
This one.
and for the legacy. Uh, Thank you for sharing, really. And that brings me yet to the legacy, actually, the mentorship and education and philosophy in general. You've received so many honorary doctorates, global awards. You have founded the K Music Conservatory in India. Why was it so important for you to start an institution and to start this trend of music education in India?
Uh, just common sense. When till a point of time, we never nothing strikes. Sometimes there's thrash, and it doesn't. You don't feel like after a while in life you say like I want to do this. If nobody else does this, um,
Mhm.
so I was looking at the musicians who my father introduced or playing with my father, and those are the musicians still. Till 2006, 7, I was only seeing them. I was not seeing younger people coming because all those musicians thought music is a bad profession, and they made their
Yes,
sons and daughters as doctors and
exactly.
dentists.
Yes,
Yeah, and I said like India has got like 1.4 billion people, and why can't we train our own kids? And I always felt that everybody is capable of excelling if they're taught correctly, if they're respected correctly, if they're treated correctly. And so there was a corporation school and opposite my. I said, let me start at home because my house is there,
yes,
and the school was opposite. I said, get kids from there, and we're gonna start a school.
that's
So that
beautiful.
started, and it was a bit stormy in the first few years because of leadership, and then my sister's taken over. She's running it great, and then we have amazing faculty all over from Europe and England and all over, and I have to give it to them because they run the place actually in a way.
That's
Because music is
beautiful.
common, music is
Yes,
giving back. And now these kids have won prizes in platinum and gold abroad, and then the string orchestra and the brass orchestra. I'm using them in my mainstream movies, so it's like a job.
that's fantastic. That's fantastic. You know, I always, all my life, at least my life in Singapore, which is 35 years right now, I've been pushing and fund and raising funds and doing all kind of activations to support culture, to support music, to support the theater, to support children's cultural education. It's absolutely a must.
I
So what
Yeah,
you're saying is incredibly
I
meaningful.
just for the first time I sat and recorded 2 days back, and they were like, the smile on their faces were great. I was scoring a horror movie now, so I was trying to experiment with them, and they were like chilled out, like play like this, play like that, and they were smiling and playing. I said, I can never do that abroad.
Yes,
I feel scared. So there was a great kind of bond which happened.
that's fantastic. fantastic. And of course, it's you're working with a new generation of composers, and they're merging with a different voice or perhaps a set of values. What's your comment on that?
The different set of, what is the
Uh,
second, what did you say?
just what is the difference? Do you see the difference in voice of this new upcoming young musicians and young composers, actually?
Yeah, I think it's very, very difficult for people to get a recognition now because there's so many people. And because what we learned from books are now available on YouTube and masterclass and this and that, free, right? So I suddenly see people are excelling in vocals and instrumentation, in in the styling, the way they present themselves, which I thought was great. Like, but I think this, as I told you before, they all want quick remedy,
Yeah,
quick
yes,
attention, quick
yes,
success.
yes,
So I think here I've invested 10 years before I became a composer, 10 years of
yes,
playing in probably 300, 400 movies and probably 400 jingles. So, and failing and humiliating and humiliated and all that is like, it makes me grounded and take
yes.
anything. And even if somebody's angry, it's like, are you finished? Have you finished? And yeah, so that has to come in because now people feel like, oh, we don't have a future. We have to, make use of this stuff. So,
Yeah,
so
that's
it's
unfortunately
hard. It's
you can
hard. It's hard
observe.
to advise
Yes.
about that. Maybe they're right. Who knows?
Oh,
Yeah.
so, what is your hope for the next wave of Indian and, as a matter of fact, global musicians of the world stage? What would
I
you like to see?
I personally feel there's so much to give in music. I feel like Western pop is so monotonous now, and it's hitting anything you hear is all filth, bad words coming out, and very few people surprise you, and it's exciting. I think maybe it's a time for places like India where it's so musically rich,
Yes,
and the younger people out here could show the world how we can present our culture. Culture means like going deep into the mechanics of the ragas and varnams and tumris and
yes.
bandish and go much further because there is a hardwired thought like we should not change this, we should not change this. Like it's time to innovate. It's time to bring beauty in everybody's lives, and you could be a reason for that, right? So.
Yes. Thank you. It's just so inspirational and so pure. And yeah, I totally can gravitate. And my son Mark, whom you know, he's I tell him just do what your calling is, and struggle is good.
You're
So
a good
thank you
mother.
for sharing,
Like my
trying.
mother.
Yes. And that brings me. We have a little bit of time, so I just want to talk a little bit on about about reflections. And just a few light questions, if you don't mind,
Hmm?
before we finish up. Uh, is there something that people often misunderstand about you?
There are many things. A lot of people think, like when I started, people thought that I had a computer. I pressed a button and it'll compose
Yeah.
everything. And it used
Yeah.
to come out. They never saw me, sitting hours and hours shaping the sound, creating
Yes.
harmony, creating a rhythm, and going back and changing and mixing and again going back. And so, but I don't like to show things or how it's done. It's like a mother's womb, it's protected. So the product comes out and they used to freak out, like, oh, he's not doing it. He's pressing he's not composing. Somebody else is
Yeah.
composing. All these ads, and it's nice to hear stories from outside what people say. But
People
I
say,
am I'm what I am because of love,
yes,
because of persistence and passion, and also courage. Because without courage, you can never progress. You can never go forward.
absolutely.
And yeah.
Absolutely. I have goosebumps. You're telling this, and look, my hair is standing up. So thank you for being so honest and so really real. Uh, when you're not composing, what brings you joy? I imagine your world must be so full of sound. Do you ever crave silence?
Uh, yeah. I travel. Sometimes I travel, and traveling actually soothes your because There's some energy which the new place brings in, and I think my life has been like music, spirituality, family, like these three. Because I don't drink or take drugs or smoke, and then like people ask you, then why are you living?
Well, that's
So
complete opposite your life is complete proof of completely opposite. So
yeah,
they
but
should just look at what you're
so
doing.
when I go abroad, I go to, again, it's music oriented. I go to probably used to go to the Virgin Megastore to buy
Hmm.
uh, um, DVDs and Blu-rays those days when people used to buy.
Okay, so your
And
music, you're surrounded by music no matter what. But you
music and
know,
movies, yeah.
yes, it's your life, of course.
Past
But
past 15 years have been like slowly going into buying cameras and lenses and
okay,
going. I'm researching about virtual reality, mixed
yes.
reality. Now,
Well, you
AI is.
started on it for sure, and once again, Le Masque is the living proof of it. So yes, for
Thank you.
sure.
Yeah.
You know, and of course, if not music, which I already realized that your mother uh, was was very open-minded, and but nevertheless, what alternative life would you have seen yourself living? Well, I know it would have not been a doctor, it would have not been a banker, but nevertheless, if you would not be a composer, a musician, who AR would be?
I I think I would have come into music anyway because there's no other. I didn't know anything else. I would have probably. I got interested in electronics a lot. I used to do like amateur amplifiers and stuff. But then music brought money also. So we could buy
Helps.
more equipment and build a studio. So everything was kind of pulling me
Yeah,
towards the profession my dad had. So it was more what my dad did and the next level. And everywhere, anywhere I go, there would be somebody who knew my dad.
of course.
As a composer, as a human,
Yes.
as a yeah. So that was convenient.
Well, wonderful, thank you. So that's definitely destiny. And before we end, you know, I have this tradition in my conversations with Olga, and as I said, you are number 55 uh, as my guest tonight. So my last guest, his name is Andrew Shipilov. He's an INSEAD professor. Left the question. So I ask my guest to raise a question to next coming guest. So the question from my previous guest for you: how does nature make you a better person? I think I probably would know even what to answer listening to your conversation.
Um, I think man, when you come into the world after a while, because of the needs to sustain a family or becoming ambitious, you start seeking things and you start doing things for people to see. And as an entertainer, that's what we do, right? But if you go to a garden, or if you go to the sea, or we go look at the clouds, they're not doing to show off anything. That's the nature. The
Yeah,
flower blooms because that's what it's meant to be. Whether people are going to watch the flower bloom or not, it's going to bloom.
beautiful.
And I kind of like that. And sometimes I feel like I just want to do a song or play a piece just for myself, not because I need to sell it. So it's hard though to do that. And even sing, uh, it took me a while to practice because whatever I was singing, I was recording because I was also composing. I said, stop recording anything. Just sing for yourself. Just
Just
practice.
it's so beautiful, amazing. I think, and I probably think that you do. You should write poetry together with the music.
I
Really,
try.
it's wonderful. And now it's a time that you should ask a question that I will post later for my next guest. So anything on any matter, on any subject, please.
Okay, I will just simple question. Ask him or her, have you found yourself?
As philosophical, as spiritual you are, I would have not expect anything less than that. And thank you so much for this question, really. And thank you, AR, so much. I'm so privileged to have you to have you on my conversation with Olga, for all of us to listen. This conversation, of course, will be recorded, will be posted on all my platforms, and spread the word any way you want. Please share it from your sides as well.
Yeah.
And please do go and see Le Masque, because it is a beautiful project. I strongly recommend it, and you will be inspired. You will be just, you will be very happy to watch it. It's a
To,
beautiful project.
to add to that, by supporting Le Masque, you will be encouraging a whole new parallel kind of entertainment. Because the success of this is not just for me, it is for so many people who can now bring artistic vision of what they could do with VR. And you will have a it- it's not a replacement for movies, it's an extension. It runs
Absolutely.
parallelly. It's parallel.
Absolutely.
So what you can't get in the movies, you'll get in this. What you
Yes.
can't get in this, you'll get in movies.
I
So both can coexist.
Because it's total immersion.
Yeah.
It's just you're completely immersed with all the senses. So yes, it was beautiful. It is beautiful. Yeah, thank you so much,
Thank you,
and
Olga.
I'm looking forward to see you at one point soon, I hope, and
Sure.
we'll connect. I'll talk to you later, and thank you very much for joining me
Okay.
tonight at Conversations with Olga.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.